I put myself in that position in which I was like, I'm going to be following the same meal plans as you are. We're going to be eating the same. And I'm going to be hosting the workouts daily on our private Facebook group. So you're going to be working out like me, because a lot of people want to do what the pros are doing. And because I am my target population, for me, it works. For me, it's totally available to do that. And I did. And it worked because they're totally in it with me and we're together.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show. We shouldn't have a podcast.
Can I talk about the big news?
Yeah.
Can I talk about this? Is this okay
please.
to talk about? I feel like we're going to be seen as, what's the right word for this? I feel like we're going to be seen possibly as less respectful once we talk about this. But I don't know if you guys saw, but podcasters were deemed essential workers for the COVID vaccine.
Is that for real? I thought you were joking.
I thought he was joking too.
Yeah. No, serious.
What?
100% serious. Because there's like 0.5% of podcasters that are journalists, right? And so because of that, because in the world of COVID, everything likes to get bunched together, like the 20,000 square foot gym that has 5 people into it has to abide by the same rules as like the 300 square foot space with like 50 people in it. So because of that, basically we win, guys. We can just kick the war veterans out of the way.
Oh my God.
Get the vaccine first.
I mean, we're so essential. So essential, guys.
Oh my God.
For all you people that were really looking forward to seeing your grandfather and your grandmother,
Right, no.
you're going to have to wait, because the work that we're doing here on this podcast is clearly more essential.
Because of the journalistic integrity of the Online Trader Show.
This is also a very good time to make abundantly clear that much of what we do on this podcast is actually run bits and tell jokes and poke fun at things. We are very serious about what we do with the Online Trainer Academy. We're very serious with online training. We are not serious about how we go about it.
Not at all.
I think it's just important to just make that clear, because we've certainly had some people over the months that we've been doing this that have taken offense to some of the things that we've said, thinking that we're like serious. I can't believe that John hates running. How dare he? It's like, well, no, I actually don't really care about running. I just think it's funny to make fun of it. And I'm not actually going to push a war veteran out of the way so that I can go get the COVID vaccine first. Like, your grandma and grandpa are safe. Like they can get the vaccine before me. My podcasting is not essential. Let's just make that abundantly clear.
Okay, so speaking about journalists and podcasts, I've never told you guys this story. Over the summer, I actually had the chance to meet a journalist for the New York Times. He covers like Canadian stuff, and like it was wonderful. He's a wonderful person, super entertaining conversation. And then he's like, "Oh, so do you do anything like in media?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I co-host a podcast with a couple of friends." And he's like, "Oh," immediately interested. He's like, "Tell me about that." And I'm like,
Oh, no.
Shit. And I'm like,
No.
nah. And I'm like, no. And he's like, "Oh, so is it a thing?" He's like, "For example, when I would do podcasts for the CBC, like they would have us in this room, and it had to be like insulated for the noise, and it had to be like the light had to be." And I'm like, "We have nothing like that."
No.
I'm like, "Whatever you're imagining," it's like, no. Just whatever you're thinking, no. I'm like, no. And he's like, "Gordy," I'm like, "I can't even, no, just no."
Whatever setup you're thinking about, sir, put a Play School logo on it, and that's how we operate.
Having been said, if you missed an opportunity to get this podcast covered in the New York Times, I'm very upset.
I mean, we are essential.
Oh man, I'm gonna get my shot after this, for sure. Just walk to the front of the line.
You can skip the line.
Can I? So how does that work? Do I carry my microphone with me, or what? Do I talk into it on the way to the front of the line?
No, you basically it's like if there's a big lineup of everybody. I mean, most of the people, older or whatever, like they're not going to be very hard to push out of the way. Is what I'm saying. So all that you need to do. All that you need to do is just walk briskly. You don't even need to run. Just walk briskly to the front.
Well, that's good, because I hate running.
Big stink about the whole thing and let everybody know. Yeah, running's stupid. There are way more efficient ways of transportation than running.
Right.
You can see what's in the distance, and it's slowly getting closer, and you're like, I could be riding a bike or like driving a car right now. Why is that distance?
Right.
Why is that viewpoint getting closer so slow? This is so stupid, and now I'm breathing hard. This doesn't make any sense. So
I don't like it.
What I'm saying is that you can go to the front of the line walking briskly, and you got to make a big stink about it. That's the most important thing. You need to put your hand up. You need to get attention from everybody in the line, and you need to announce with gusto that you are indeed a podcaster. Therefore, hitherto, your needs and your health takes precedent over the 97-year-old war veteran with 2 medals of honor.
Did you say hitherto? I love that you interjected hitherto in a bit. That's what that made my day.
Extra points if you're streaming live while doing all of this. Because,
Absolutely.
We're about that life.
I feel like you just won a great game of Scrabble or something. I don't know what game. I don't play games a lot because I don't like people, but I feel like you just won something by saying that. By the way, JB Smooth is from North Carolina.
As we've figured out, JB Smooth is amazing. JB Smooth is
he's from North Carolina,
an incredible comedian. But as we figured out in the last week or two, if you are going to be doing unbelievably illegal, disrespectful acts, it's really important to live stream them on social network to make sure that you get caught as quickly as possible.
My gosh. I refrained
to show that if you're going to break into any public political buildings, you make sure that you live stream it as you're doing it with your face uncovered, so that anybody can see that it is you doing it, and that there's.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's really important.
I like to I use the platform Be Live TV for all of my live platforms. So what I like to do is I like to go into Be Live and schedule my vandalism first, so that people get a notification that it's counting down. That way I can make sure that they tune in, and they see me live vandalizing federal property or any property, really. I like to do it all. I have stayed out of this conversation. I'm going to follow through with that on this podcast and remove myself yet again.
It's always, very important. You don't need to know about that one time when you vandalized that public washroom in the middle of the North Carolina park.
Right.
It's weird that you targeted that, though.
Right. I've vandalized a few.
One of those coin-operated toilet diffusers.
Right.
And you're like,
yeah. When I was doing insurance, driving all over the state, I vandalized a few gas station bathrooms. I can tell you that. It's just more of a biological vandalism, but that's not important for this podcast because it looks like we've got another podcast where, and I shudder to say this, where Catalina's going to shine. She's going to shine yet again. Now, this type of cosmic event doesn't usually happen twice in one millennia. So I'd like to get some people in here from Guinness to document this. I think we can officially get it. Catalina's she's going to have 3 topics. Because we did the topic about sort of sexual harassment. Kettle gave us some great insight there. And then we had the Catalina's Time to Shine, when she was telling us about being prepared for the opportunity that may come your way. And here we are yet again. Once more, her light will shine here, and she will grace us with the goodness that is. Catalina, what's your middle name, Catalina? I've never known that.
We shall not.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay, all right.
Let's skip.
That's all right. Amber will find out for me. Down the rabbit hole we go. That will not be the topic of another podcast. And see, here's the thing. I would have gone easy on you had you just said it. I probably wouldn't have even noticed. But now that you've made it a thing, now
Carolina is my middle name. I go by my middle name.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, my baloney has a second name, and it's Mayer.
Let's play around this. What do we think that Carolina's first name is? I bet you it's like the most boring, generic white girl name ever. That's hyphenated. It's hyphenated. It's like a Chelsea Ray or like I don't know. What hyphenated?
Way out of context.
Like how
like a Sally Catalina Belmontes.
Like a Sarah Michelle Carolina Belmontes.
Brittany Nicole Catalina Belmontes is what her name is. That's what I think.
I would rock that name and be like, it's Brittany, bitch.
If you follow Catalina on social media, she has some Britney tendencies, though. There's some Britney-like behavior. There's a pop star-esque, feeling that you get from engaging with Catalina's content. Yeah.
I would say there's a lot of ups and downs to her life. That's what I was going to go with that.
She's not shaved her head yet, so she's not reached that plateau. So we've got things to talk about today.
All right, let's talk about what Carolina did. Carolina was the awesome.
You did stuff. What did you do, Keto? Share with the people.
If you're watching.
I sold out my program. Woo! Yeah,
nice. Well done. So when you say program,
let's talk.
Okay, so my program is a 4-week nutrition and training program, and it's a group program. It's meant to be for a group. I wanted 12 people, and I got my 12 people.
Nice. That sounds good. So am I understanding correctly what we're going to talk about today?
Who are these people?
Yeah.
Okay. So my target market is always women, 35, 40 and above, who work, they're stressed. And basically what I did for this program is that I tapped into my own needs, because I know how I have been feeling. Like throughout the pandemic, the gyms are closed. I'm noticing some clothes don't fit just as well as they did before. And I'm like, what the heck is that? Like, that is right. Like, Amber's laughing. I don't know. Like, I think a lot of ladies are going to feel what I'm saying. It's just because our lives have changed so much over the past year, and it makes perfect sense. But at the same time, there's stuff that we can do about it. So why not? And so I tapped into that, and I created what I called Fit for the Dress, which is basically like find your inspiration dress, something that you have in your closet, or the dress that you love on Amazon or whatever. And I'm not talking about sizes. I'm not talking about specifically weight loss, but it's just in general. Like, how are we going to get to the point where we feel like we're thriving in our wardrobe? When the world opens up again, we're going to kill it. We're going to be going to parties and events, and we want to look our best. So I used all of that is important to me, and it totally resonated with the group of women that I was going for. And now for the cost, because Jonathan was asking, I'm charging $197 for the 4 weeks. And it worked out really well. And the way that I decided that I wanted 12 people is because that is I made $2,364, and that amount felt good to me. Like, yes, I'm going to do this for 4 weeks with them for that amount, totally. So for me, it was a non-negotiable to not get 12 people, because then that's how you end up presenting your work when you're not making the money that you need really for the amount of effort that you're putting in. So for me now, I'm totally happy. It's totally worth it, and we're off and rocking it.
I love it.
Talk about what you did leading up to the launch of your product, because what a lot of people don't realize before they get into this, before they know what they're doing, is they launch the product and then they try to get people into it and raise awareness to it. But at that point, it's often too late. You actually want to basically sell out the minute you launch, because you've nurtured and gotten people excited and created awareness and created scarcity beforehand. And you did a really nice job of that, I noticed. So talk about what you did leading up to it.
All right. So for me, it all started like 2 weeks before launch. And that was like the first, like I posted a picture of myself, not right, like just like an older picture of me, like super happy at the beach or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, I'm working on this thing and I can't tell you what it is, but I'm so freaking excited. And so that started kind of like cluing people in that something's coming. And what this thing is, we don't know, but that's fine. Something's coming. So you grasp kind of like their attention. And then from there, I stayed consistent in my messaging. Like I started putting, as I mentioned last episode, like pictures of myself with quotes that are relevant to change, to habit changing, to rediscovering you, to finding your energy, to finding your vibe, because those are the kind of messages that resonate with my population. So I stayed consistent for the next 2 weeks.
Okay, let's stop there for a second.
Yep.
Let's stop there for a second, because I think that that's a really important point. You knew the reason why people would want your program. You understood the pain point. You understood the reason why they would really want your program. You understood what was missing and the type of messaging that was really valuable. And what you did is you weren't specifically talking about your program yet, but you started to only highlight all of the issues, all of the benefits of your program, getting anybody listening to you already thinking that way in preparation for your actual promotion. Okay, go on.
All right. And so then after, essentially bombarding the same message over and over, you start seeing that people start interacting more with your posts. And of course, those are the people who are kind of like being, kind of like awakened by what you're saying. So engage in conversation with them, private message them, tell them, if they're really interested. I always do that. Okay, I'll tell you, but you can't tell anyone yet. But here's a little bit of what's coming. And so they feel kind of like they're in on it with you. And you're cultivating your relationships, essentially, is what we always talk about here. You have to cultivate your relationships. And so that process facilitates all of that. Everybody who's liking and commenting on your post, those are the people that you're reaching out to. You're asking questions and you are giving a specific step for them to. It's like, if you're interested, send me your email right now so that I can keep you in the loop. Like reply to this and say, tell me more so that I can tell you when the time is, or whatever, right? Like ask for an action.
I love it.
And what's cool about that, yeah, I love it. And what's also cool about that is like, that gives you an opportunity, to talk about it and make people feel special and like they're in the know before it actually comes out. But it also really highlights and allows you to capture some of the language that people who might buy this use about themselves and about why they might want it to use in your promotional materials moving forward. Like they're basically giving you everything. In addition, the types of questions that they ask are types of questions that other people ask. So you're really using these kind of early adopters, getting them interested in your program and hopefully selling them, but using them to better understand the language, using
That's
them to better answer the questions about the program, which is great.
Hey, Jonathan Goodman here. This podcast is made possible thanks to people like you. Here's a quick word from our sponsors. Are you still trying to pick your online training software? If so, let me make this easy for you. Go with PT Distinction. It's truly the best, and I'm not just saying that because they're our sponsor. We actually use PT Distinction for our own online fitness business, online trainer coaching, and we're really happy with it. From onboarding to programming to client communication, PT Distinction has everything you need to run your online fitness business smoothly, and it's super simple to use. Now, normally they offer a free 30-day trial, but as a listener of the Online Trainer Show, you get a free 60-day trial, so you can make sure you love them before spending a dime. If you want to deliver first-class service to your clients while reclaiming your time, then visit onlinetrainer.com/PTD to sign up for your free 60-day trial today. If you're a fitness nutrition coach that's looking to master online coaching so that you can help more people, make more money, and have more freedom, then the Online Trainer Academy can help. OTA gives you the framework, knowledge, and support to have predictable success with your online coaching business. From marketing to business development to how to assess and motivate your clients online, it is constantly updated and refreshed to keep up with a dynamic market. Not only that, OTA is proven. In 7 years, we've helped over 30,000 coaches in 87 countries go online. Truth is, we know what works, so you can get right to the success part. And in case you're busy working a full-time job or you're a full-time parent, know that you can go at your own pace. There's no deadlines to complete OTA and you have lifetime access. That said, if you are ready to make a rapid change and finish the course in the next 8 to 12 weeks, you can expect to invest 3 to 5 hours each week on the program. And here's the best part. If you join today, you will make an extra $1,000 a month in 90 days, or I'll give you your money back. So if you're ready to build the fitness business you want and make the money you deserve, go to onlinetrainer.com/academy to enroll today. And I hope to see you in there.
So I used essentially the bones of what is the founder's client approach. So for anybody in OTA who has ever used the founder's client approach, that's pretty much what I went with, because this is the first time that I'm launching
challenge.
this.
We gotta work on this, Carolina. we gotta work on this. We gotta make sure that you know the names of our products.
That's all right. I think
you know what? It'll be in the notes. It'll be in the show notes. Don't you worry. It'll be there, I'm sure. And so
by the
I
Online
essentially
Trainer Academy.
So I followed the very like the structure for the founding client challenge.
Oh, good job.
And there we go. And because it is the first time that I'm launching this program, I'm like, listen, it's at a discount. We're never going to see this price again. You're going to help me test drive and figure out any kinks in the system. I need your success story so that others can see how awesome this is. And so the ladies that are now part of my group are so in, like they are sending me their pictures. They're totally, I didn't even have to specifically be like, hey, your pictures are gonna be used in my social media. It's like they're like, here, take it. Yes, we're doing this. And I'm like, whoa, this is amazing.
That's awesome. So they're completely bought in.
Yes, they're completely bought in, and they see it as a team, which is wonderful because I'm like, I said that kind of like in the rules, in the explanation of our private Facebook group. This is the place we come and cheer on each other. We ask questions, we get clarification, whatever, but this is where we cheer for each other. And they've taken that on. And so it's an awesome energy that we have going in the group right now.
How did you actually take these people who are interested and begin talking about the program and eventually sell the program and take the money? Like, walk us through that in as much detail as possible, because tell the people.
I want to know.
So I created a kind of like a landing page for the program that has every single explanation about all the different parts that are included. And I made it very visually appealing. However, for anybody out there who's like, I don't know how to do landing pages things, like honestly, I'm the worst at this. I am the worst, and it worked. It served its purpose. Like, don't get caught up in perfection, because if I had, I would still be spinning my wheels and not launching shit, because I'd be stuck in that, getting it perfect. So some things that should have been, created differently with HTML, I don't know how to do that. I stuck a picture in there of the thing that I wanted it to say, right? Like I don't know how to change fonts, so I made pictures, and it's like a Frankenstein of a landing page. It really worked, so totally worth it. Don't get caught up in perfection. And what Jonathan is asking, like, how do you get people in? Once the launch happened, I was super excited. I get really excited about things, and I transmit that sometimes very effervescently, I guess. And so when people start wanting to know more, you really get in conversation with them, and you have to make them see how you have the perfect solution to everything they're struggling with. It's like, oh, you're busy, you don't have time to plan your meals. Guess what? I have meal plans for you. Oh, you're not very proficient in the kitchen. You're not very imaginative in how to create your recipes. I have a recipe book for you, and it's all laid out, and I'm going to be doing it with you too. Like, I put myself in that position in which I was like, I'm going to be following the same meal plans as you are. We're going to be eating the same, and I'm going to be hosting the workouts daily on our private Facebook group. So you're going to be working out like me, because a lot of people want to do what the pros are doing. And because I am my target population, for me, it works. For me, it's totally available to do that. And I did, and it worked, because they're totally in it with me, and we're together.
I love it. I love it. You're like the Samuel Jackson of this podcast.
Because I swear a lot too.
Oh man, that's pretty awesome, Jonathan. What are your follow-ups here, Jonathan? You're thinking thoughts. I can see that.
No, I was Googling something else, actually. That's why I was looking
What?
with curiosity.
Okay, Ren, it's okay. I got material. I actually made notes for this episode. So there's a few things that I want to touch on.
Okay.
And one of them is like, lest you all believe that this was all like magical and just like perfect from the get-go, it was not. So what happened is like day one, I had like 3 people sign up. And then day 2, I had 1. And day 2, when I had just the 1, it almost broke me because I was like, oh my God, if this is the trend going down, I am never gonna, I totally went into that space in my head where I was like, this is gonna suck. I did all this for nothing. I'm not gonna get the people that I want to make the revenue that I need. I was there. And then I flipped over to Kick-Ass Caro because us is always there, dormant, waiting for us to tap on it, right? And I was like, no. This is not over. This is my story. And how am I going to transform this moment right now into my story, winning moment? I was like, okay, let's get it. So instead of giving up into the stuff entirely and being like, oh, well, this is it. I have 3 people at the end. I really, I amped up the message. I don't care if I became obnoxious, if people were tired of seeing my face and my, promoting this program. I went all in because at that point you have nothing else to lose.
Yes.
You're already in it. Like you might as well make the money that you want to make, right? And so I flipped gears into that and it totally worked because here we are, sold out.
This is such a big point, and I want to bring Jonathan in on this because he recently posted something about this. First, I'm wondering how many ketos there are because so far I've met Petty Keto, and I've met Kick-Ass Keto, and we've also met Sarah Michelle Keto today. So it's like a Power Rangers teams of ketos. Like, do they come in is it a multi-pack? Is it a Costco size package of ketos, or is it more like a Walmart size? I digress. The other day, Jonathan was posting eloquently about aggressively asking for what you want. And that sort of ties into what Keto just said. Like at the point which your product is released and you don't have, by the way, I did a launch last week too, had the same experience on day 2, 3, and 4 of my 7-day launch. But when your launch is out there, you don't withdraw because you don't say, well, I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want people to have to see my stuff. So you go all in. So Jonathan, can you sort of speak to that context of aggressively asking for what you want out of your own business?
Sure. If you are not hearing no multiple times, then you are missing out on a tremendous amount of opportunities. Because if you're not hearing no's, you have no idea how many times you might have heard yeses. Most people don't ask enough for what they want. This comes down to relationships, love and otherwise, right? This comes down to friendships. This comes down to professional partnerships. This comes down to selling. If most people don't ask enough, which means they don't hear yes enough. And so my take of this is that if you're not hearing no multiple times a day, then you actually have no idea how many times you might have heard yes. Because you might be surprised when you actually ask. In Carolina's case here, I think it's great because she kept her energy up. And the worst thing that you can do in sales and in marketing is take your energy down. Everybody wants to be attending a party that everybody else is attending. Nobody wants to be on a sinking ship. And it is important before you have a party that everybody wants to attend to kind of make it look that way. I've given the advice multiple times, I think it's in 1 or 2 of my 11 books, Ren, that one of the things that I think that a lot of
Thank you for that.
I have given you the advice multiple times, and I actually have gotten like some crap for it from people. And it's funny because it is a little bit dishonest, so I understand why I've gotten some crap for it. But I actually advise in-person personal trainers when they're like booking their times with a client. If they have a prospect, for example, you can strategically open up your calendar and show very few open spaces to make it look like you're in demand, even perhaps before you are. Like, what would you think if you were to book with like a service professional, like a personal trainer, and they open up their calendar and they're like, all right, I can train you anytime Monday to Friday. It's like, dude, nobody else wants to work with you. I don't think I want to work with you. Right? So something that you can do is, I mean, you're not going to put like fake names in the calendar, but you could certainly block off time and just have a couple of holes. And then so it's like, oh, I really want that 3 p.m. slot. You're like, oh, let me get back to you. I got to message somebody and just make sure that they can't take it. Whatever, right? I actually wouldn't go that far because I wouldn't necessarily lie. But the idea there is a bit of a catch-22. In order to be in demand, you kind of need to look like you are in demand. Even before you've sold a spot in your program, I'm getting so much interest in this program. I'm so excited. Look, if you guys are in, you better jump on this. I would get messages all day about it. Like, you don't need to necessarily have sold spots. Right? The worst thing you can do is to kind of back off or be softer about it. And I think what Sarah Michelle Gellar Carolina demonstrated here as Buffy the Vampire is like, you don't back down from 1990s amazing TV. No, you don't back down from, even when you think that like anybody who's done a launch knows that it spikes day one and then there's a valley and then it spikes on the final day.
Yep.
There are ways that you can mitigate against that. You can add bonuses throughout. Like if you've got like a 7-day launch, for example, or a 10-day launch, you could have the big opening and you can create some awareness or even a bonus for getting in on day one. And then on, let's say, day 3, you could add in another fast action bonus that expires at midnight on day 3. Like there's stuff to help you kind of spike it throughout. But the reality of it is it's going to spike on day 1, then it's going to be a valley, and it's going to be a valley of despair where you think that you're a failure and nobody's interested. And then on the final day, when you're about to take it away from everybody, all of a sudden everybody shows up. That's kind of how these things go. And if you don't keep up your energy, right, you will really fall flat.
Exactly.
It's 100% my experience.
That's all I got to say. Sarah Michelle Gellar Carolina, you mentioned in our Slack group something about like it's going to be really good to talk on this podcast about how the people who are really interacting with the stuff all the time like aren't even necessarily the people who are buying. And isn't it amazing how many people buy that you didn't interact in any way? So can you talk to that a little bit? Because I feel is a really, really important point to highlight here.
So yes, so I love seeing that. Like honestly, every launch brings amazing lessons, and that's something that to look forward to every time you launch a program. It's like make note of the things that are hitting you like aha moments, because that's going to carry you for your next launch. You're going to be like, okay, I've been down this path before. I know what this looks like. There's good stuff to look into it, right? So one of the really cool things that I saw in my launch is that I had 2 old clients that I haven't seen for like 4 or 5 years was the last time that they worked with me. And they have not interacted with a single piece of media I have put out in these 4 or 5 years. And they signed up. They signed up without even asking, without even talking to me first. They were just like, I already know you and I like what you're putting out, so I'm in. And they bought. And I'm like, what the, oh my God, like great surprise, right? Then one of those clients mentioned it to her friend who signed up. She doesn't know me, but her friend is kind of like giving the green light on me because, right? So she bought. So now I have a brand new person that wasn't even in my sphere because she's not even on Facebook. She had never heard of me. And now she's a client and she's doing wonderfully as well. And another big surprise, and I know like we joke so much about moms because Jonathan has like his very first blog post with a comment by his mom, and then my mom always goes and comments on everything I do. Well, she shared my program, and didn't I get a freaking sign up from my mom? Like what? Like yes.
Oh, mom hook up.
And for that,
Like my mom hooked me up.
For that reason, I feel so bad about pushing in front of your mom in the line to get the COVID vaccination. Just in lieu of what you just said.
Like, he's still gonna do it. He's still gonna do it.
It was honestly hilarious. I was like, here we are, Mom. Thank you. It paid off, I guess.
He's just not going to feel good about it when he does it.
So I'm going to mention one last part that was a surprise to me. And I think like it just turned out awesome. I actually, when I was creating the entire program was already created, but I was deciding on a name and I had a few options. So I actually did the whole like, oh, what should I name my program bit?
Mm-hmm.
And I did that in a private group that I am part of that is all for women entrepreneurs. So a lot of them are my target market, right? Because they're over 40, they work, they're busy lives, all this kind of. So I'm already kind of like fishing there but I'm asking for their input. So it was a valid way of interacting with that group within the rules.
Mm-hmm.
I got massive response, people weighing in, great feedback. I landed on the name that I landed thanks to this query in this group. And something awesome happened. A woman who is part of that group contacted me. She private messages me and she's like, I really like what you're doing. And I am a personal image advisor. I'm a stylist and I work with clients privately. I'm based out of Australia. I would love to offer a giveaway to like the winner in your challenge. And I was like, oh my God. So then suddenly like everything kind of like I'm able to even upsell like that extra bonus in my group. It's like, we're going to have a winner and the winner is going to have her very own private session with a personal stylist. And it worked out amazingly because it fits into what I'm doing with, your clothes and fashion, all this kind of stuff. But also I'm creating a relationship there with somebody who vibes with what the things that I do. And we're already talking about how we can, continue to collaborate in other ways in the future. So that's amazing. So don't limit yourself to what you have. Think about what other professionals in other completely different areas can come and complement what you're doing, and you can complement what they do. So that turned out fantastic. So I just thought I'd throw it out there too.
This is a beautiful story of triumph, camaraderie, womanhood, adjustment of queens' crowns across space, time, and the internet. And I've been riveted the whole time. I mean, this has been a beautiful thing. I feel like even in my masculine, I'm coming a little bit into my feminine energy here. And I got to say, it feels good. Like it feels good. I never want to step back out of this energy, Keto. Thank you. I'm sorry, Sarah Michelle Keto. I never want to step out of this energy again. I mean, what a great story. So what did we learn today, folks? May I summarize? Is it okay to summarize? I'm going to summarize. So here's what we learned. Number one, prime the pump. Like you got to marinate the dish, right? Catalina, we'll go cooking. Catalina marinated the dish. She marinated the proteins. She made sure that it was going to be delicious even before it started cooking. At some point, she started to cook, and she let a few people have a little taste of the sauce. Hey, look, it's not done yet, but I can see that you're sniffing around. Hey, taste this sauce I made. And they were like, this sauce. Oh, let me go back to Keto's other personality, Samuel Jackson. They're like, this sauce look delicious. I can't wait to get my MFing hands on this MFing sauce. So there you go, Keto. Amber, you can tell your mom about this one. So she let them have a little taste of the sauce, and a few people sat down to eat. The early people to the cookout, they came and ate. Keto's like, I thought we'd have more people, but did she stop cooking? No, she did not stop cooking because those people were coming, and that's not what she does. That's not her jam. She continued cooking more and more of her dish because she knew that later on, the late crowd was going to show up, and they were going to show up hungry. And she had a little something for them to eat, huh? She had a bite, huh? You want a snack? You want a snack? I got a snack for you, late showers. And she fed the people, and that's how she turned the party out. She turned the party out. So take yourself all the way through your process when you're enrolling. Do it with great energy from the top to the bottom. Don't let the circumstances that are happening in the course of your enrollment dictate what your methodology is going to be. Just follow through with your plan and make sure it's properly targeted. Make sure that you're speaking directly to your community. And don't be afraid if you don't get all the turnout that you want, because Keto said, that's a frightening line. Keto said, there's a book I wouldn't open if I saw it on the shelf. Keto said, but in this case, I'll use it. Oh my God, I scared myself to death. But Keto said that that when you're going through this process, you're going to learn something with every launch. And she learned this launch that a lot of people show up that haven't really maybe didn't interact with your content. So you guys, you're not throwing content into the void. Somebody's always seeing it. You may not have the data to show that. But Keto proved it out with 2 of her clients and a third because her mom was heavily invested in her content. So there you go. Anything to add, guys? Like, are we done? Are we done here?
We're done.
All right. So this has been episode whatever it said on the title of the Online Trainer Show. You read it. We're not going to get into that. And thanks so much for stopping by, guys. Hopefully we solved all your problems in 50 minutes or less. And you can find show notes at onlinetrainer.com/podcast. And I guess we'll see you next time. If this thing doesn't cancel, I'm surprised it made it this far. But if we don't get canceled between now and the next day that we record, we'll see you again here on the Online Trainer Show. Jingle it. The jingling, baby. Go ahead, baby. You're jingling, baby. Go ahead, baby. You're jingling, baby. Go ahead. That's an LL Cool J song. I didn't make that up. That's a real song. Jingle, jingle.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show. We shouldn't have a podcast.